That'd be rough. I don't want to be with that.
Okay. So, what's your name?
Leena Carson.
And what do you do for a living?
I'm a Living Center Director at Grand Valley State University.
Are you happy with your job?
I love my job.
You love it?
I do.
What do you love about it?
I think the best part is my interactions with my students. It's really fun to see students one-on-one and get to talk to them about their life, what they want to do in their future, and I really enjoy my one-on-one time with my staff, too.
So how would you define happiness?
Well, right now, I feel like it could change. I don't know. Maybe it's, right now in my life, happiness is doing what I like to do. I have this freedom, and I get to travel, and I get to do what I want to do, and it's kind of selfish, but I enjoy it. And I think that's happiness to me right now, is enjoying my life to the fullest, because I think that changes when you have kids, or when something big happens in your life.
So do you think that's a generational thing, where now we talk about more ourselves, and maybe before, even in the 50s or even before, it's less of that? Or do you think it's always been somewhat of a selfish thing that people do?
I think it could be both, and it's also a cultural thing, because if you think about it, I think I just had a conversation with my dad. He thinks I should have to take care of him in his life, like make sure if he's financially having problems, it's my job to take care of him, but I don't have money, so how am I going to help him? So I think it's kind of both. It's a cultural and generational thing, because I think my parents' generation expect their children to do everything for the parents, and I think growing up in America, where they brought me, they said, do your thing, get an education, and so while they didn't intentionally want to, they instilled freedom in me for wanting to have an education and having my own life.
So you weren't born in the United States?
Nope, London, England.
And how was that how old were you when you moved to the U.S.?
2. I was raised here.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you still consider yourself from London at all?
Not really. I identify with it because my family's all there, but I would say that I think culturally, being Indian is more a part of me than being attached to England.
Okay. I know for a lot of people who are minorities here in the United States, they do have, and raised in the U.S. from a young age, they do have an issue with identifying with certain cultures. Like, culturally, if you're, for me, I'm Hispanic, so I might be divided. It's like two worlds. Do you face that issue as well?
Yeah, I'm laughing because, yeah, absolutely. I think growing up in a small, primarily white community, they were always like, are you black or white? And I was like, I am neither. I'm a brown person. So I felt like I was initially trying to be boxed into the categories that were already created in America. So for me, absolutely, and I felt like I was going home and I had to speak Gujarati, and I had to be a certain way. And then when I was at school, it was like, no, that's not cool. You have to do things this way. And I think it's continued through my undergraduate work, and even in grad school, and even in my work that I do as a full-time staff member at a university, because I still think people don't fully understand where I'm coming from, because I have a very different experience in my household and my upbringing than, at the work environment. I feel like people don't get it.
Do you feel like you have the upper hand in that sense because you can relate to people more than those who are more boxed in and categorizing people?
I don't know about an advantage. I would say that I feel like it's a privilege. While it can be hard at times, I think it's a privilege because I get to work with students or people who I can relate to better than someone else, and it wasn't their fault. They were brought up in a community that was all white, and they were white, and they can't help where you were brought up. That's just how it is. So to me, I feel like I'm pretty lucky that I experienced what I did when I was growing up, but it was hard. I would definitely say people make fun of you. They make fun of your parents' accent. They make jokes, things like that. But I think for me, it's exciting that I can take my experience and share it with my students and have that connection with them.
Do you feel that same way within the Indian community? Do you feel like you fit in more with them?
No.
No?
No. I would say I feel like an outsider. I don't know the language that well. I don't know all the customs and traditions as much as my cousins who live in London, who have that family culture, close-knit. I don't have that, and so for me it's sad. I don't have that, but I have my life, I have my education, and I get to do really cool things, but I don't know the language as well, or I don't have a close-knit relationship with my grandparents. So I think there's always a give and take. You know, you can't have both, and you can have a little of each, but I feel like there's something in life where you just can't have everything. And I had to give up some of my cultural experiences and my family ties because my parents chose to move to the U.S. without everyone else.
Okay, so how would you define love?
Interesting. I think it can be, I don't know, the first thing I think of is that how people, I can't think of like the language of love. It's like the quiz online, and there's like people who like affection. Do you know what I'm talking about? It's like affection, or people who like to have people who want things done for them. There's like all those different categories, and I kind of think it's true. Like love is, I feel like it can be conveyed in so many different ways, and it can be, oh, I'm going to leave a cute note for you because I just care about you, or I'm going to call to check in on a day that I know you're having a rough day, or it can be the intimate moments. It can be, it can be that physical, emotional, everything, So people always assume when you think love, the first thing you think of is then partnership or relationship, like intimacy. And I think you can think of love as loving your friends and loving your family and loving what you do and the people around you. So I feel like love gets thrown around a lot, but the biggest thing is just, I think it's that caring, that selfless caring about something or someone beyond you,
Mm-hmm. So, have you ever been in love in a romantic sense with a significant other?
Yeah, I'm actually engaged.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
So did you know right away you were in love with that person?
No, I would say that we became friends. We went to graduate school, and we became friends. He was my neighbor temporarily because his apartment wasn't ready, and I took him under my wing as a second-year grad, and he was a first year, and I didn't think anything of it. I thought he was a friend. I was helping him be a hall director, and honestly, we became friends. We were doing late-night work, paperwork and documents for our RA staff, and after 3 weeks of constant togetherness, I think we realized there was something more to our friendship, and I think that's why I cherish the relationship I have, is because it was based on friendship. So it wasn't that hot flash of like, I love him and there's this fiery, it was initially like, he's my friend. He even asked me, would you go on a date with me, like later after we were already dating, if I asked you out? And I said no. Because I didn't date. Like that wasn't a part of like who I was. So I'm so glad it was just a very natural setting of creating a friendship and then being romantic.
Do you believe in love at first sight?
Yeah, I do. Past relationships, I remember there was this guy in undergrad. I thought he was like this amazing person and really cute, like the good looks, the funny, whatever. And it was instant. Like you saw each other from a room. It was like that silly story that you hear, like in movies. But at the end of the day, while it was really fun at first, it wasn't at all what I thought it was going to be. It became more about being this like item than really the relationship. So yeah, I think you can, but I think it depends on the person and where both people are at, because you can immediately have this connection to someone, but if they're in a different place in their life and they don't want that seriousness in their life, it doesn't really work, and one person ends up getting hurt, and it's painful, definitely painful.
So any last remarks that you'd like to share?
I feel like life's just a really fun journey that we are so lucky to have, and I think each day you should just really enjoy it, because it could be gone instantly, and I think that people don't really think about it until someone close to them is gone, or like they don't really reflect on life like that until something happens, and I think it's too late then. Maybe it's not too late, but it feels like it's too late at that point. So yeah.
Well, thank you.